Question number 2 is, how much can you expect to receive from Social Security benefits? This will depend on a couple different things. One is how much you earn during your working career. And a second thing is the age at which you apply for benefits. So basically, the more you earn during your working career and the longer you wait to apply for benefits, the more you'll get from Social Security. Now, how do you earn credits, or how do you qualify for Social Security? First of all, you have to have 40 credits. And 40 credits takes a period of 10 years to earn. So it's not, some people think in terms of quarters. It's not quarters any longer. It's actually credits. And a credit this year is $1,160 of earnings will give you 1 credit towards Social Security. And you can only earn 4 credits per year. You can earn your 4 credits as early in the year as possible. So if you earn $5,000 the first month of this year, you've already gotten your 4 credits for the year. So if you're self-employed, the credits are $400 per credit. So one of the tips that we have for people is take a look at your statements and make sure that you at least have your 40 credits in. So if you're a little bit short, or maybe you've been a homemaker or working part-time, check the earnings records to see if there's something you could do there to make sure you're eligible. How benefits are calculated. First thing, at age 62, each year's earnings are tallied up and indexed for inflation. So what this means is they look back at what your earnings were years ago. So let's say back in 1980, you had a paycheck of $30,000. So what they do is they say, well, that $30,000 is the equivalent of earning $90,000 in today's dollars. So they take your old earnings and they index them up to current dollar values. That's step 1. The next thing they do is they take the highest 35 years of earnings and they're averaged, and that's your AIME, Average Index Monthly Earnings Amount. The AIME is divided by 3 bend points to determine your primary insurance amount. And I'd like you to circle that in your handouts. Primary insurance amount, PIA. The PIA is the amount you'll receive at full retirement age. So the PIA number is something we're going to refer back to all night long. We had somebody that came up to us during the break and he said he was looking through our website and he said it was very well done and there's some good articles on there. But the PIA number is something that he remembered. What is PIA? Let's hear it. Primary insurance amount. Everything I talk about, whether it's spousal benefits, survivor benefits, if we talk about divorcee benefits, it's all based off the PIA number. The last thing here is your benefits are increased each year by the cost of living adjustments by the COLA. So we'll delve into COLAs a little bit. Here's an example of the benefit formula. First of all, they take a baby boomer born in 1950. The baby boomer has paid maximum earnings every year since age 22. The AIME formula is $8,238. Here's how they figure out the PIA. They take the first $767 of the earnings and they use a multiplication factor of 90%. And that comes out to $690.30. And then the next portion of this AIME number is multiplied by 32%. And then the last portion is multiplied by 15%. So you can see the lower parts of your income actually give you more credit or a higher percent crediting towards Social Security. So in this example up here, the PIA number comes out to $2,466 at this person's full retirement age. So the PIA formula, some of you might be more interested in learning about this. If you're interested, I could send you a little bit more literature on it. Also tonight, I'll mention that inside of your, one of the handouts we gave you is from Prudential. And they have some great handouts, and Prudential spends an immense amount of money every year researching different topics and coming up with presentations. And I asked them a few days ago, I said, could you send us I asked them for one case study, and they sent us these nice kits. And so inside of these kits, there's some white papers that talk about how benefit formulas are calculated. And just about every example and scenario that I go through tonight are inside of these kits here for you. So take them home and kind of peruse through them. It'll give you a little bit of reminder if you're looking for a little bit more in-depth research. It's right inside that kit from Prudential. And I don't work for Prudential Insurance, but again, they just have some great literature, great information that helps sum up the benefit amounts. Now, here's a big question for you that we get all the time. What if you apply for early benefits? What if you apply for early benefits? Well, you will receive a percentage of your PIA number. So if you're born between 1943 and 1954, and your full retirement age is 66, and you decide, okay, I'm going to retire and start drawing my benefits at age 62, well, you'll receive 75% of your PIA number. So in this example, if the PIA is $2,466, 75% of that is $1,850 a year. And you'll notice for each year you delay retirement after age 62, the benefit reduction goes down by about 5%. So age 63, it's about a 20% reduction factor. Age 64, you have about a 14% reduction factor, and so forth. So if you draw benefits early, one of the things you have to be forewarned about is the reduction is permanent. So there's no going back on this. So if you take a 25% reduction in your benefit amount, that's permanent for the rest of your life. And it also, so it could impact things like your cost of living adjustment on your check. And we'll talk about spousal benefits, also permanent, it's also a permanent reduction for spousal benefits. So it's something you really want to consider, you know, if you want to start drawing 62 or 64 or 66 or whenever it is.
Somebody told me that you could pay the money back and start over.
Okay, that's a good question. The comment is, can you pay the money back and then start over? And now, up until about 2 years ago, retirees would be collecting Social Security, you know, for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And then they say, you know what, I'm going to take the money that I've collected from Social Security and pay it back without interest. So they pay the lump sum back and then reapply for their Social Security benefits and get a lot higher paycheck, monthly paycheck. And it ended up being a really good return on that money that they had sitting in the bank. CIA, arrested these people, but Social Security Administration kind of caught on to that, and they said, that's too good of a deal, it's a really big loophole. So these days, if you start to draw benefits within a 12-month period after your initial application, you can pay back your benefits as if you never started. So you only have a 12-month window to go back and repay your benefits. What if you apply after full retirement age? So here we're going to go through an example. You continue working to age 66. For most people, that's your full retirement age in here. Well, after age 66, what happens is you actually get a delayed retirement credit. So if you retire, if you don't start drawing benefits at 66, you wait till 67, you'll receive 108% or an 8% increase in your retirement, your PIA number. And so every year you delay after age 66, you have an 8% increase in your PIA. So that could be a, you know, add up to a significant amount between 66 and 70. And if you add in the cost of living adjustment, let's say in 2012, the cost of living adjustment was 3.6%. So now you're looking at 11.6% bump in your future Social Security benefit check. So that can really add up over time, that 8%.
Did you just say that you got the, even if you didn't take the Social Security, you went to 67 or 8, you got the cost of living for each of those years?
Yeah, the question is, if you're not drawing your Social Security benefits, if you're 66, in your example, you're saying between 66 and 68, what you'll receive is 8% the first year, 8% compounding on that the next year. In addition to that, if there's a cost of living adjustment, like in 2012 it was 3.6%, you get that in addition to it, and 1.7% this year if you're delaying. So it all adds up, you know, so that number can start to grow. I'll go through some examples a little bit later on, because we're finding a lot of people that are saying, "Eh, geez, I'm 66, I'm not quite ready to retire." And they're going, should I draw my benefit because I can draw it and I can still work and there's no reduction, or should I leave this and earn this 8% credit? So I have some great examples a little bit later in the presentation. How to estimate your Social Security benefits. You can go to your statement. How many people in here have received their statement in the last year? Okay, you just gave away your age because these days they stopped sending it to people under age 60. Okay, so in order to save on mailing costs, they're not sending it out anymore. So if you're under age 60, you need to go to the Social Security website. Nate will discuss that a little bit later, how to get there, how to navigate through.